Hiya everybody! So today I thought I'd make one of these folders. I made one on the group last night, here it is, but I thought I'd make a little bit a different one today. So the one I made on the group has got various tucks, as you can see. In there's a little corner tuck right at the front, and there's like two little booklets on the side. I haven't quite finished it. But my idea for when I made this last night, I had another idea that came to me that I really wanted to use the papers that I used, and I wanted to be able to make another one but different. Now my inspiration for using the cut-offs, when you make something out of paper, you always got cut-offs, little scrap pieces. Now my inspiration from that came from the lovely Teresa. So hi Teresa, thank you so much for your inspiration. I really use the cut-offs to make those little tags and make the little booklets, as you can see. So this is for a challenge we've got to make our own journal, which I will be popping a video up shortly on how we're making that. So the kind of things you will need to make this project. Now here I'm showing you a booklet that's by First Paper Edition, but I didn't actually end up using it. I ended up using Peter Rabbit. It was a PDF folder. It'll dawn on me now in a minute. It was a PDF folder that I had purchased from Etsy, and as I was about to score this, I thought, no, I'm going to use that Peter Rabbit fabric. That inspiration came from the lovely Sue. She gave me a Peter Rabbit journal last month swap, and even though these papers are absolutely gorgeous, I thought, no, I'm going to use Peter Rabbit. Now here, I just want to let you know, to make this, you need to be aware of what way your papers go in, what way the direction of the papers go in. Is it coming top to bottom, or is it going across? Because you'll see as the video goes on why that is so important. So here I've come back, I've printed that paper that dawned on me when I was making this video, and I'm just about to score it. Now the size that I started off with is a 6x6, and you'll need to divide that into 3, so scoring at 2 inches and 4, and that'll give you 3 parts. Now I always like to double fold my score lines to really make sure that they're folded. It's really important, especially with this project, that they are. That little folder that I made on the group, if you wanted to make that, all you'd need to do is score it at 2 and 4, turn it 90 degrees, and then score it at 2, and then cut that 2 inches off. And that'll give you, as I'm saying here, it'll cut the 2 inches off. That'll give you that size. Now that size is 4x6. The size that I made tonight is a little bit bigger, and you'll see at the end of the video why, how it turns out to be bigger. So there's a lot of tucks and folds, and a lot of making up the paper as I go along to get what I wanted in my head. So I had a piece of tea stain paper, and I wanted to cut it the same length as that 6x6. So here I'm cutting it at 1 3/4, and the reason I'm doing that is because I'm gonna, in a minute, gonna be making a little booklet to go in that ephemera piece that I'm going to be making. So it's 1 3/4 all the way, and I had a little bit left over, so I just cut that off. So out of my, I think it was 8 inches piece of tea stain paper, I managed to get 2 pages, if that makes sense. So I've gone back onto my Etsy store, on the Etsy store that I printed these off, and I found more papers. Now I do apologise if I'm out of camera. It's been a while since I've done one of these videos, so I do apologise. So here again, I'm cutting it 1 3/4. Now I'm just going to make the cover to go around those blank tea stain pages, and I'm literally just cutting that end off. I'll use that end for something else. It'll come in handy. So that ended up being 6 and I'm gonna now score it at 6. I'm scoring it at 6 because I want the length. So it's 1 3/4 width and 6. The tea stain pages, as you can see, I scored at 1 3/4 all the way, and I just cut in half and gives me 2 sets of pages. Now it's up to you whether you want to ink them, corner them off, add lace. For me, I did want to hand sew it in, but the decision on whether I wanted to do it on the machine or not, I ended up doing it by hand. Now here I'm deciding whereabouts I want that booklet to sit. Now it can either sit on the left side, which is that section, or the right side, because the middle side will hold the paper clip. So have a think. I ended up putting mine on the right side. You'll see what I mean where the paper clip goes, and where you'll sort of need to make a decision on where you want the little booklet to sit. I have been obsessed with this colour. It's called Evergreen Buff, and it really matched the dragonfly on the paper, and I loved inking all the way around. So I've inked all my score lines all around the edges, and now all I'm doing is I'm putting the paper clip in. Now I'm only putting it in to where the paper clip stops, and before I go putting the paper clip and gluing all that down, I need to sew this little booklet in. So I matched my pages up with the little cover I made, and I wanted to make my pages a little bit smaller, so I had a little bit of a border in the inside. It'll sort of make sense now, and where it sits, I'll show you where it sits in a second. As you can see, my pages are overlapping, so I'm cutting them down. Now I didn't go for straight. I could have got my cutters out and really gone for it, but I didn't. I did it by eye. So I'm hand stitching these little pages in, which is something I haven't done in a while, and I did it with crocheted, it is crochet thread, but it's really thin crochet thread, and a long needle, and I used my mat to pierce the holes to make sure it was going to go through my glass mat. So here I am threading my needle. I know during this video I am off camera, so I do apologize for being off camera. So all I'm doing now, as you can see, cutting my pages down to make sure I have a little bit of an overlap, a little bit of an edge, border edge all the way around, so my pages aren't overlapping that cover. So I'm sewing my pages in. Now I've done 3 holes. I've done 1 at the bottom, 1 in the middle, and 1 on the top. Once I've done those 3 holes, now I'm going to pierce it on that fold, on the right hand side of the fold, because that is where this little booklet will sit. Now I always start in the middle to thread my thread, and then I go thread it down and thread it back up again, and I carry on doing that until I feel that it's secure enough. I do apologize for being off camera again. It's been a while since I've done one of these videos. So as I'm doing this, I can clearly tell you that my table is not clean at all. I've got all my craft stuff out, dies, you name it, the lot, and I was just having a field day crafting along and just creating, and that's the kind of thing I just wanted to do, is just come on and create with you all. So as you can see, I am stitching that now onto the score piece that we made first of all. And making sure that it's going through the holes. Now I had quite a bit of thread left once I had pierced it through, which I didn't really cut down. I haven't cut down since doing the video, because I want to see if I can find a little Peter Rabbit charms. If you guys know where I can find them, please let me know, because that's what I'm after. So I've tied it in a double knot. It's secure enough, and I've just left a bit of a tail on the end. So that is sort of that side near enough. That's all the stitching you'll need. Now the middle section, again, we go back to the paper clip, and it needs to end where that paper clip begins. I'm using the high-tack glue to glue all this down. Make sure you put a bit of glue in the inside of the paper clip too, because it will you will need that fully secure. Now I let mine dry for a couple of minutes before doing anything else because I really wanted to make it secure. And as you can see, it's all about decorating it up now. So this is the folder that I wanted to make. So you can use any ephemera you want. You can really go for it and really dig it out. Now this piece, I didn't have a ruler at hand, so I used my piece of paper, and all I'm doing is I'm making pretty much a square. As you can see, I'm cutting the image, but I know I'm off camera here, so please forgive me. I am going to go from the bottom top left corner to the bottom right. I'm going to draw a line and I'm going to cut it out, and it's the way I'm going to stick it down on the folder gives it a little bit of illusion that it is stuck together, which it isn't. I will come back out now for you to see. I've just cornered that edge, and as you can just about see off the camera, there you go. I am not sticking it side by side. I'm leaving a little bit of a gap up the top, so the illusion is that it is stuck. So as a guide, I've just marked all the way around with a pencil to make sure that my piece, I know where my piece is going. And instead of gluing the paper, I'm gonna glue where it's going instead. I've only glued two sides because the top will end up being a pocket to put something in. And then it's just a case of snipping the bottom off. Now this piece, as you can see, it's the other end of that picture. I didn't want the pointed edges. I wanted to soften them down a bit. I've inked my edges, and I'm just going to go about adding some fabrics. Now I decided to use my vintage fabrics, some tulle and a little bit of lace trims just to go around the edges. And then, like I say, it's once you've made the folder, it's yours to decorate how you wish. And I just think these are so cute, and they can be put into any journal. And yeah, so all I'm doing now, with me, I find that if I layer my fabrics without gluing anything, then I know where everything is. I don't know whether you can see under my hands, there's like a multicolored ribbon that came from Crafty Bonbons, and I'm off to my sewing machine to sew that in place, so that my fabric's in place to make sure that they are not going to move. So I've got my tulle, my paper, a piece of scrap, and then the little piece of fabric that's been cut with pinking shears all the way around. Again, Crafty Bonbons, I had it in my vintage collection. So I'm away to sew that on the machine, and with a video on YouTube, as you can clearly see, it's sewn. Now with that piece, I only sewed two sides to give me a little bit of a pocket. You'll see right at the end how I've made that into a pocket, and now all I'm doing is making little tickets. So you just cut them at an angle, all your little papers. I got glue on my scissors again. And that is my little tickets. So for the top, now the ephemera I'm using here, I had given to me via Sue. So hi Sue, sweetheart, if you're watching. I did use quite a lot of the ephemera that I had given to me last month for my swap, only because I wanted to do a Peter Rabbit one. So I inked the edges all the way around, and I've grabbed a piece of scrap. It isn't something that's come out of my box, it's just a piece of scrap lace that I just wanted to add on top. I've left the writing as well on the side so that I'm able to write on the side, so when it does go eventually in my little journal that I want to create, I've got it. I was battering with myself about using that little piece up the top, but I didn't end up using it because I really wanted to layer. To me, Peter Rabbit is all about flowers. It's one of the things that I think straight away of him is in the garden. So I had these little die cut images from Ali. Hi Ali, sweetheart. And I really wanted to lay them up, but not just lay them, intertwine them onto that piece of paper that I've used. So I'm going to use my tacky glue to secure the whole thing down. Some of it overlaps on the edge, which is what I wanted, and some of it will completely lay flat on that edge. And it'll give me, when you look at it, it'll give your eyes something completely different to look at. And it's just a case of securing it down and make sure it doesn't go anywhere. So I did end up cutting as well, which you'll see in a second. There on the end of those die cuts, there's almost like little stalks. I ended up cutting them off because I literally just wanted the flowers. They were multicoloured and just fitted in perfect. So there is a slight little tuck there, but nothing major. Now I'm on the inside where that paper clip sits. Again, the ephemera that I'm using is from Sue. And who is Little Sue Crafty Beginner here on YouTube. I'll put her link down below, and I'll also put Ali's shop, and yeah, for you to go and have a look at them. So again, I'm using a bit of tulle. I know I'm off camera here. This piece of fabric that I just picked up, I have actually got Peter Rabbit Beatrix Potter fabric, and I just thought it would sit perfect if I sort of ruffled it down the bottom. It would sit perfect. So up the top I had this piece. I printed it from the collection over in Etsy. I'll pop that shop link as well down below. And then I went around, as you can see, that character there, I can't remember her name, she's the hedgehog out of Peter Rabbit. I just went round her with a pinking shears to make sure that she wasn't going to, her layers weren't going to come undone. So that went behind it for me to journal on that. And then it was just about securing that little image up the top. I can't remember what the hedgehog's called. Mrs. Tiggy Winkle, there you go. So I was like, it's like I say, now is just the case of decorating it how you wish. I did like the little blanket that I picked up, but I didn't want to make it look as if she had a blanket on her head. So what I did was I entwined a piece of crochet trim with that piece of ribbon, and I sewed it on my machine, and then I glued it down with actual glue. Because the paper clip's there, I couldn't go over it with my needle. It'd snap if I did that. So I'm gluing all this down, and that is sort of that side done. Now that leaves me with a little tuck there, a little tuck there, and a little tuck there. There's about 4 tucks in general. So I'm on to the front cover now of my little booklet, and at one point I fussy cutted that little image out. Now I before the video started, I had printed out the papers that I purchased from Etsy, and that watering can was on one of the papers, so I fussy cutted the image out, and that is going to give me another tuck on that page. So a little bit more tulle and some of that fabric. Now what I did decide to do is stitch the tulle and the fabric first and then stitch it onto the book. Now you'll see that I've glued a plain piece of paper onto the front cover. That gives me a tuck there, and that is it. And then one more thing I did want to add now is the how I was going to close it. Now I haven't got any magnetic tabs, and I haven't got any Velcro. I've got to get some. So I decided to use this beautiful ribbon I had from Ali, and it just fitted in perfectly. The colours were exactly the colours I've done. I wrapped it round twice, and then I used the bunny to hide where I had originally glued it. So wrapped it round twice, and then I left a little bit of a gap when I made that little tuck spot up the top, just to glue that little bit of ribbon, and then I put the bunny on top, and that was the end of that. Now I probably am going to go back and add more to it. Definitely going to add, you know, some fabrics and stuff to the top of the paper clip. These are cut-offs. They are the little pieces of scrap that I had when I had made the booklet. So I'm literally just going to make a couple of tags just to share with you where these pockets and tucks. Now that didn't actually cut straight. I don't know whether I can buy a new blade for it, but hopefully I can. But it didn't matter for this project because it was all about the garden. I mean, it really didn't matter, it didn't bother me once. So I'm just making a couple of tags and inking around the edges with that evergreen buff. And that is today's project. It really turned out really well, and I'm planning on making a little mini one, smaller than the one I made on Facebook. Um, and hopefully I can share with you what that ended up looking like in the week. So yeah, that's the little project. If you give this a go, please let me know. Please give me a like, and if you're not already, subscribe, and obviously hit the bell. You'll get notified every time I put a new video out. If you hit that bell. Thank you everybody for watching today's video. It's been absolutely a blast just to sit and craft with you all and share it with you exactly what I created. So like I say, let me know if you give this a go. And yeah, to make the two, one was made on Facebook and one was on YouTube, and I'll definitely put the tool on the paperclip like I've done on Facebook. So I'm going to stop chattering now, and I'm going to leave you all. Thank you all for watching. Take care, and I'll speak to you all soon. Bye for now.